Hey guys, what is going on? Draven here. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, today is going to be a super different video than any kind of reaction I've ever done in the past. Most of my reactions have been to like video game trailers or storyline, or majority have been music videos. But today I decided to do something slightly different and react to the new Army basic training video that they put out. Business Insider put this video out. I believe they're following a platoon over at Camp Benning or Fort Benning, however you want to word it. And I'm very curious on what they consider, quote, the new Army basic training. For those that's been a part of my channel now for 2 or 3 years, I did enlist into the United States Army back in 2020, and I left for Army basic training that same year. It was the year with COVID was the big old deal, and I had a lot of problems with it, so I might stop and tell a little bit stories about that. But I am still currently in the United States Army on the National Guard side here in Idaho, and I work full time for the National Guard. So I'm very curious on what they're going to show, if it's going how different it was to my experiences. I just kind of going to be curious about it. Like I said, never done a reaction video to this. No idea how I'm going to even structure it or how it's going to look. It might be 12 minutes of pure boringness, but let's find out.
Go! Relax.
Okay, so already off the bat, there's two things that I'm curious about. So this is definitely taking place sometime in like year 2020 or 2021, because they're still wearing the masks. When I went through, I had to wear the mask 24/7. The only time I was not allowed to wear the mask was eating chow. Hey, let me take those off because it's causing a glare. Eating chow, taking a shower, and technically we were supposed to wear them while we're sleeping, which I thought was absolutely insane. But our drill sergeants didn't care, so they didn't make us wear it while sleeping. But outside of eating chow or taking a shower, we were 100% wearing it at all times, covering face and nose. So they're still wearing it. So this is clearly 2020, 2021. They're doing what I believe they call the first 100 yards, which is technically replacing the quote Sark attack. But I had the Sark attack when I first went through basic training. For those that may know, when I went through basic training, I got COVID towards the end of my cycle. And so I actually got recycled to day 1 because I got COVID, because quote I was out of training for so long, because back then it was 20 days of quarantine. So I got the Shark attack, and then I went through all of Army basic training, got to week 10, 4 days before graduation, got recycled, got day 1 to week 1, and when I got recycled to week 1, I went to a new battery, which they actually were doing the 100 yards versus the Shark attack. So I got to see both. So that's what this looks like. It looks like it's the first 100 yards. The part that's really weird is that if you notice some of these guys, like this guy has PV2 rank on, this guy has the PVC rank, PVC rank. We weren't allowed to wear ranks at all. Regardless of our rank, we never got to wear them ever at any point at all. We were referred to as trainees the entire time, and no one got to know each other's rank unless you want to brag about it in the barracks. But
this is day 1 for new Army infantry soldiers.
Hey, if you're in formation!
Alright, so this is at Fort Benning. Army infantry, they go to OSIT, which is a 20-week program. I didn't go to an infantry. I went to Fort Sill, so I was there for 10 weeks. Technically, I was there for 19 weeks because, like I said, I got recycled. So this is slightly structured basic training than what I went through. They just take a little bit longer on certain aspects of it. I believe they train with more weapons. I believe they do more combatives. They do a little bit more infantry shit, which makes sense, obviously. But it should still be similar.
I should be the only one talking!
Their 22-week training begins
22
with
weeks.
an event known as the first 100 yards, where different platoons compete in events that test them mentally and physically.
Rip. It's a cool concept. I really like it. I really think it's great. A lot of people don't like it because this technically got rid of the Shark attack. I personally think they need both, the Shark attack plus this. But this was really fun for me, and I thought this was really good because you kind of see it helps you gain that leadership quality that they're looking for. It helps you gain that confidence that they really want you to gain in those 10 weeks or 20 weeks that you're there. But they start off like really quickly, like day 1 or 2. of training we did this on my second cycle. This is after reception. This is after you technically been received. So this must be like day 1 or 2 of red phase.
The entire intent behind it is that they understand that the Army is all about teamwork, winning matters, and it sets that tone for the rest of their 22-week cycle here at Fort Benning.
The winning platoon receives a reward, and the losers face consequences.
Can't call them losers. We need the pallet!
It may seem intense, but it's markedly different from what day 1 used to look like.
Why are you switching back? Shut up!
Alright, so this is showing the shark attack. And this video of the shark attack, there's a kid. This kid and another kid, if they show the full video or they show parts of it, one kid looks like he is shitting himself. Like, he is so beyond scared. And then this kid, I absolutely despise. And I'm glad I never went with something like this. But he kept talking back to the drill sergeants, and he kept arguing with them. And if there's any piece of advice I give anyone that's going through Army basic training, even if you are right and the drill sergeant is wrong, you do not say that you're right and the drill sergeant's wrong. Just, yes, drill sergeant. Like, do not argue with them. There's very rare cases, unless it's like life-threatening, there's very few cases where you want to correct the drill sergeant. Regardless, like, they've slaughtered my last name so much, and I made the mistake once of correcting him, because I was like, oh, he's about to call me the wrong name for the next 10 weeks, and I don't want him to call me the wrong name for the next 10 weeks, so I want to help him out, and I corrected him. Yeah, that was the dumbest shit. Like, I meant it, like, trying to help him out, but of course that wasn't a good thing. So I was purposely started calling me the incorrect name the entire 10 weeks. So this is like your first day being received. They have you put up your shipping bag like above your head, yell at you a lot, make you do push-ups a lot. It's a really eye-opening experience. It's pretty intense, not gonna lie. I still don't see why they got rid of it. I don't see how it's. I don't understand why they got rid of it. To be honest, it wasn't bad. I say that now, but I don't think it was bad.
Day 1 used to look like.
Why are you switching back? Shut up! Shut the hell up! Why are you switching back?
In February of 2020, Insider got a look at what used to happen on day 1.
Get your bags up!
An event known as the Shark Attack.
You're a tough guy. Don't move. Do something.
See, like, and I wish, God, I might do a reaction to this video. This guy, like, it's weird. I like this guy. He clearly effed up somewhere. They didn't show him effing up, but they had 2 drill sergeants talking to him, and this drill sergeant egging him on. This drill sergeant's 100% egg him on, and they 1,000% do this, and he's just like, nope, just fucking deadpan. You know, like, you knew he fucked up and just accepted that he fucked up, and then that was it. Like, you don't, again, like, it just head and eye straight forward and just mirror.
An unofficial tradition born in the Vietnam era when soldiers were drafted to serve in the Army.
It was a very different Army. You had guys coming from prison, and the drill sergeants needed to assert that dominance.
Why are you moving? Why are you moving?
What we know now is that there's no reason to, put somebody through that.
Shut your mouth!
That's why we went away from the Shark Attack.
The Army officially replaced the Shark Attack in the fall of 2020.
I still disagree. I understand why the Shark Attack was invented, but doesn't mean you can't apply it to now. Like, think of the average 18, 19, 20-year-old kid. They kind of need that sometimes, at least in my opinion. I don't know. To say, oh, because they're not being drafted, so therefore we don't need to do that. I'm like, that doesn't make sense at all. But
Get off! Let's go! Get off! Let's go!
Insider returned to Fort Benning to see the first 100 yards in action.
Get your freaking big boy!
As far as it being easier, that's not the case.
Straight to the front!
The physical stress is still there, the mental stress is still there,
We're not moving at the position of attention!
and the drill sergeants bring the intensity.
Divided into 4 platoons, the all-male Delta Company of the 1st Battalion 50th Infantry Regiment forms up to begin the event.
Upon the completion of your training,
you'll be inducted into the Brotherhood of the Infantry that has fought and defended our nation's freedom for the last 246 years. Your mission: complete 4 collective tasks as quickly, accurately, and violently as possible. Completing the mission by...
Did he say this? Did he just say as violently as possible?
Quickly, accurately, and violently as possible. Completing the
That's
mission
badass.
by closing with and destroying
That's badass. That's cool.
the enemy during the last 100 yards yields victory. In combat, there's no prize for second place. So today, only winning will be rewarded. Let's go, man!
We followed 2nd Platoon, signified by red jerseys.
Let's go, boys! Go! Let's go!
After a short run, the platoon encounters a mass of supplies arranged in a very specific way.
You 3, look! We can look at it. Remember how this is set up? Do you remember?
So yeah, so this is what I was referring to. Like, so they come up. There's a pallet. There's MREs. There's some got coolers. There's the stretcher. And by how particular they want it. So see how like the MRE has like the description facing one way, the expiration date facing this way, the label facing up. Like you have to rebuild this like this, like with the correct letters facing the right way and all this other stuff. And it's just, and if you see, it's everyone's the same. And then, like, this looks like there's a piece of wood, like 2x4 there. But obviously you don't have your phones, you can't take a picture of it. So the smart thing to do is write it down. You get 4 people, at least what I did, is I assigned 4 people to write it down. Like one person write it down, like 4 different people wrote it down. Because 4 people, there's going to be differences. But I figured 4 people will get enough of a generalized of what it's supposed to look like. And then you start assigning people, so the next 3 people, they're in charge of MREs. That's their job. So 4 people write down what it's supposed to look like, and then I assigned 3 other people to grab the MREs. It was only MREs. We didn't have the stretcher, we didn't have the got coolers or the pallet. It was only MREs, and I want to say there was ammo boxes too. And so then I just cycled through 3 to 5 people worrying about MREs and 3 to 5 people worrying about ammo boxes. So that way some people were running without anything, but the people who were running with stuff, when they got tired, was able to hand off the MREs to the person not running with anything. So that way we were able to conserve energy and stuff like that.
You guys have 10 more seconds. Pay attention to how this is set up. It's going to pay dividends later, men.
With about 30 seconds to memorize the configuration of
That's
supplies,
it? Jesus. All right, we got a lot more than 30 seconds. Look at all those water coolers.
Something at least once, understood? Let's go. Hey, let's go, man. Let's go. We got to move. Hey, man. Let's rock.
The trainees have to move the supplies while avoiding obstacles on their path to the AO, or area of operations.
Hey, watch the law.
The scenario that we create for it is that you're conducting a resupply mission, but the goal is to get everybody to work together to accomplish that mission.
Hey, watch these trees! Watch the trees! Hey, watch this law!
So I'm trying with these videos to not talk shit on these kids, because it's just not right for me to talk shit on these kids. But this is not being a leader. Carrying one thing over your shoulder like you're fucking badass and just barking orders. You're not doing shit. By saying watch the trees, watch the logs, by being in the front, like he's trying to be a leader. And I personally, and a lot of people might disagree with me on this. I don't fucking think this is a leader. This is a kid thinking he's doing the leadership shit, but he's doing the least amount of work. He's not carrying the skiff that has all the MREs on it. He's not asking battle buddies if they need help. He's not making sure his battle buddies are squared away or anything like that. He's literally just in the front yelling, watch out for the trees, watch out for the log. I'm carrying this 20-gallon. I think it's actually fucking 10, it's 5 gallons actually. Yeah, those things are 5 gallons. That shit's not fucking heavy. He could carry 2 if he wanted. If he's doing this, you carry fucking 2. Don't carry 1 and then bark orders. But that's just me. This is just absolutely me. I could be mistaken. Anyone in the military that's watching this could let me know if you agree or disagree. But I would not like that.
Just drop the gear!
Rearranging the supplies as they initially found them comes later, after a series of events that will give them plenty of time to forget.
Move it! many of you guys actually read that study guide? Raise your hand.
The trainees are quizzed on facts included in a study guide issued to them upon arrival at Fort Benning.
Me and the commander will tally up total points, and that will be the winners of this next event. Who is your battalion command sergeant major and battalion commander?
Talk it over, take your time, do it right the first time so you don't do it again. The brigade commander, what's his name?
The brigade commander. And rank.
Write something down, let's go, man. Run!
And again, this is why you should always have something to write with and paper on at all times. You should have your notebook in one of your pockets. You should have that shit written down. But I had a red notebook that I kept with me at all times that had all that information. So when I got quizzed, if they let me look through my notes, or I had it so I could read it at all times, and so whatever.
It gives you a little bit of insight for the drill sergeants as to what kind of guys you're going to have and maybe where you need to focus on as far as the development of the trainees.
First, where's your answers? You gotta, if you don't fight to the front, man, you ain't gonna be winners. All right, man, go to the backs of your ranks. Hurry up. There can only be one winner. For this event, it was 3rd Platoon.
They're cheering me. The drill sergeant told them to shut up.
The consequence is what's known as corrective training.
It just reinforces that winning matters.
Stay with the count. 3. Sound the fuck off. 4. Your next task is to build a bunker. The dimensions for the bunker are going to be 5 wide in the front, 2 sandbags deep, and 3 sandbags tall. The team that builds this bunker to standard in the quickest amount of time will be the winners. Get ready! Go! Go!
We gotta go!
There should be more over there.
Right over here!
Hey, man, they're doing it that way. Let's go. What are you guys doing?
Running out of time.
Man, we're gonna leave. Come on.
Everybody's got to pull their weight. just like when they get to their first unit of assignment, you got to pull your own weight.
Who's next? Second one. Well, the winners are 4th Platoon.
At least they showed like the actual bunkers, like which one, so I could see it, but I couldn't tell.
Not forward launch. Not forward launch.
After 2 events without a win, 2nd Platoon doesn't have time to relax. Their next task is to resupply the bunker with the supplies they carried through the woods.
Build it exactly as you found it back at the road.
Nearly an hour has passed since they had 30 seconds to memorize how the gear was arranged.
Get ready, go! Boxes was 3 long, 4 high, 1 in the middle between the 2 on top. Work together. You're gonna mess it up. Work together. Communicate. 3 by 3.
It's just a mentally challenging event.
That was 3 long, right there.
3 long.
Test and assess the mental capabilities of these individuals.
So it's kind of cool that they're showing it. One of the things that does happen a lot is a lot of people try to take control and talk a lot, and they kind of start yelling at each other. I'm not too sure if they're going to show it, but it does happen. And you kind of can see it happening there with that platoon where like 3 or 4 people were saying 3 completely different things. And it's kind of hard. Like this kind of stuff is trying to teach 1 or 2 people to try to be leaders. And a leader isn't just barking orders. They're not just fucking going, you do this, you do this. Like, yes, technically that's part of it. And you have to be able to do that, but it's also being able to help, assist, to guide, all those things. Like, a good leader is not someone who just barks orders.
Under stress now, and then see how far they come 22 weeks from now.
It was 3-4, 3-4-2-1. Let me do it.
How could that be applicable in combat?
It can be as small as you have to be able to remember where the closest piece of cover behind you was.
Just put something on top of it so it stays. Let's go.
Once you're put in the stressful environment, now you have to...
That was a good question. So the producer asked him, how is that applicable to combat? Like how everything that you do is for the purpose of being in combat, what they refer to as being downrange. Attention to detail, everything. Everything in the Army is all about attention to detail, small things, big things. Like, small things lead to big things and stuff like that. So that was a good question. Like, how is this applicable to combat? Like, and so you have to remember where certain things are. Like, yeah, that makes sense.
You remember something from before, and you have to act.
Nope, that is wrong as fuck.
has deficiencies. However, the closest platoon to being correct was 2nd Platoon.
What? That was wrong as fuck.
Keep that military bearing, all right? Now go back to pre-rest.
Drill sergeant, give your platoons their rewards.
1, 2, 3, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey man, doesn't mean because we won this one. All right, you can be up here, but stay humble. All right. If we win this next one, we have a good chance of taking the whole thing and getting that reward. You guys want that reward?
What is it?
I promise you, it's a
So he's got green ink on his left pocket. I wonder like where that came from. I wonder if something exploded in his pocket. But there's like fucking green ink dripping on his pocket.
damn good one. All right? All right?
The final event simulates a medical evacuation where the trainees race to move all the sandbags to a finish line.
You will use the litters. 1 casualty is 6 sandbags. So you can only transport 6 sandbags at a time.
That's cool. We never did that.
Stage ready to go each time.
A win for 2nd Platoon would clinch an overall victory.
Go, 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 go! Let's go, baby, let's go! Come on, 16!
Now
you guys dead.
Stumble could ruin their chances.
Slow it down, let's go, let's go, let's go! Go!
The drill sergeant helping with that? What?
Things stumble could ruin their chances.
Was there a drill sergeant with him? Well, hold on. Look, right here. Look, yeah, this drill sergeant helped him. What?
Things looked bleak when 1st Platoon celebrated as though they'd won.
Form it up! Go
See, look at the ink.
What
Interesting.
platoon do you think did the best across all the events combined?
2nd Platoon.
I keep hearing 2nd Platoon, which is wild because points accumulated, they took 1st place.
So, I'm not saying this, but of course the Business Insiders are following 1 platoon and 2nd Platoon, and of course they fucking win while Business Insider is there. I'm not saying anything from that. You come up with your own solutions of why that is the case, but I am just saying 2nd Platoon won with Business Insider following 2nd Platoon. You draw up your own conclusions on why and how. How do they cheat?
Relax.
So over the next 72 hours, every meal, they will be the 1st platoon to eat for the next 3 days. On top of that,
Hell yeah.
they will also not come down here to clean up all the sandbags and everything later today. That'll be 1st, 3rd, and 4th platoon.
Hell yeah, what a...
That is their reward.
That's a hell of a good reward, dude.
Soldier discipline, military bearing, you understand? Yes, sir. We're gonna win everything the whole cycle. You still stay humble, all right?
We want them to be motivated, absolutely. Motivated soldiers are better soldiers.
Stay humble while you're here.
But there also needs to be a humble aspect to a soldier. Humble but not passive, same as aggressive but not reckless. And that's what that drill sergeant's getting at is ensuring that military bearing's there and staying humble.
Huh.
The first 100 yards concludes with a demonstration performed by active infantry soldiers.
That's cool.
This is what perfect looks like. Now you've got 22 weeks to work and develop yourself. You become that perfect infantryman, which is what they see.
Drill sergeants, take charge of your platoons.
That's cool.
Man, your 22 weeks starts today.
Alright, guys. Well, that was just Business Insider's look at the first 100 yards, and I kind of rambled a lot, so this ended up being a super long video. But curious what you guys think. And like I said, I enlisted back in 2020, went through basic technically twice, just because I got COVID, stuff like that. Went to AIT. I'm now here in Idaho, working full-time for the National Guard. I'm in the aviation unit. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, if I should keep doing reaction videos to this, or if I stick with the music videos. Either way, you guys have yourself a great day. Stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.